I've got one more here for you, and this is about the Beck bastard, the suicider. And this comes courtesy of Mark Namick at PolitiFact.com. PolitiFact.com. A couple of weeks ago, Beck on his radio broadcast said he was referring to Wilmington, Ohio, and he said this town hasn't taken any money from the government. They don't want any money from the government. Okay, let me give you the backstory. Beck loves to lie and BS his audience, and they sit there like guppies and just suck it up. And he likes to tell his lies with what he considers to be dramatic flair. It's kind of pathetic, but that's the way Beck is. And the Murdoch terrorist network pays him an incredible amount of money to get on radio and just be a complete dumbass, because that's what his audience loves. I mean, it's an equivalence thing. Beck equals his audience. His audience equals Beck. Okay. Anyway, he's latched onto a story this holiday season that's familiar to many Ohioans. There's a town in southwest Ohio named Wilmington. It's a town of about 13,000 people. And it used to be the home office of DHL Express, the air carrier, like FedEx or UPS, DHL Express. And DHL Express closed down in 2008, and that cost that tiny city 8,600 jobs. Now, not all those people were from Wilmington, but you can bet your ass that anyone who lived in Wilmington had a job or had a family member who worked at DHL Express. It was the largest employer there. Now, the job losses little Wilmington, Ohio suffered since this company's departure, those losses have been the subject of presidential campaign stops, celebrity charity events, numerous media reports, including two on CBS's 60 Minutes. Wilmington, Ohio. Now, in the dumbass, the suicider, Glenn Beck's version of the story, Wilmington is real-life Bedford Falls. You remember Bedford Falls? The fictitious little town in the holiday classic, It's a Wonderful Life? Wilmington, Beck said on his November 22nd radio show, is ground zero of the recession. And its people, like those in Bedford Falls, are pulling together to save the town through self-reliance and prayer. What makes the Wilmington story really special, Beck said, is that Wilmington, you see, refuses government assistance. They refuse it. And, of course, that's his political philosophy, the essential philosophy. Of course, if Beck and his family were starving, he'd be the first one to open his mouth and say, "Feed me! Feed me!" But, of course, Beck is not starving. He's a multimillionaire. And it's easy for a rancid son of a bitch like that to talk about how, no government assistance. Look at these poor little worker bees, these little worker ants over in Wilmington, Ohio. They refuse everything. They're surviving through prayer and pulling together little meetings at the Y and the civic clubs and giving each other canned foods. Oh, isn't this blessed? He said on his show, quote, "It went from the number one most up-and-coming city, and a city everybody wants to live in, to ground zero. And this town hasn't taken any money from the government. They don't want any money from the government." Beck then noted how Wilmington area churches are working together to provide food for the citizens and asking God, not the state or federal government, God, to fill its food pantries. God, please give us a miracle. We're going to go to bed tonight with all the shelves bare. When we woke up in the morning, please, please fill our pantries. Wouldn't it be scary if that really happened? They all woke up the next morning and they had 8,000 cans of asparagus? Anyway, the citizens and the churches and the good people of Wilmington desperate and starving as they are, their children without health insurance, their schools collapsing, but they're praying, oh, hallelujah, and they will not take state or federal government aid. No, no. To highlight his Wilmington story, Beck is going to hold a show at that city's Murphy Theater on December 15th. It's entitled America's First Christmas. The proceeds will be donated to a charity in the city. So all the broken down, starving, battered people, the result of predatory capitalism, are all going to gather together at the Murphy Theater in Wilmington, Ohio, next week, and they're all going to buy a ticket to go in and see Glenn Beck's America's First Christmas. And then all the money will be given to a charity in Wilmington to feed the very people who used the money to buy tickets in the first place. Now that makes sense. Beck said, I'm going there because I think this town needs to be highlighted. I think this town is going to help the rest of the country, not the other way around. He said that. Now, with such a large spotlight and a big-mouthed dumbass like Beck talking about this stuff, shining a light on the small town, PolitiFact Ohio decided to review Beck's storyline that Wilmington shuns government assistance. We asked for Beck's sources, of course, but our emails to his producer went unanswered, so we looked ourselves. Guess what they found? I'll tell you in a minute. So, PolitiFact.com and Mark Namick, who writes for them, decided to check out the story. It's all lies. The city of Wilmington itself has received federal assistance, including money from the federal stimulus bill that Beck, as you know, screams against. Communism! Well, Wilmington took some communism, jackass. Government and social service agencies that serve residents of Wilmington and surrounding Clinton and Clark counties have received state and federal money. Development agencies and companies in Wilmington have received state aid. Unemployed residents of the town and county are receiving unemployment and other jobless benefits. Oh, my. The story is starting to shred like Beck's wet toilet paper when he wipes himself. Oh, my goodness. Immediately after DHL announced the closing of its Wilmington Air Hub, elected officials at the city, state, and federal levels began seeking help for DHL workers. Oh, but they rely on the churches, Glenn, and prayer. And Jeebus to wander the streets at night, filling the people's stockings with canned asparagus. No? Not so. The federal government awarded a $3.87 million national emergency grant in November 2008, specifically to provide job training and other aid to DHL workers in Wilmington and the surrounding area. They will never accept aid. They don't want government aid. They hate the communist socialists that are running the government, the Kenyan. It was administered through the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services. The area has since received a second national emergency grant worth $4.1 million. Wilmington and Clinton County benefited handsomely from the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act, commonly known as the stimulus bill that was passed in February 2009. Communism, I tell you. That's a joke. Stimulus money. What did it do? Just put us deeper in debt. For no good reason. It's all right if we go deep in debt, but only if it benefits billionaires like me, or millionaires like me. The tracking website for the stimulus program allows anybody, including the suicider Glenn Beck, to search by zip code to find the total money spent within a certain district. Using Wilmington zip code 45177, which includes the surrounding county, the site shows that the area received $7,009,811 in stimulus money through September. The figure includes money that went to the Wilmington City Schools, the Clinton County Department of Jobs and Family Services, the Clinton County Community Action Group, a nonprofit organization that aids the poor in the region and provides free weatherization to residents. They don't take any money, no federal money, and they don't want any. Look at me. I'm Glenn Beck. Look at me. I'm telling you the truth. Follow me. Close your brains. Open your mouths. Let me pump this stuff in to your mouth and your ears. Listen to me. Wilmington, Ohio. It's just like Bedford Falls. Nobody helped them. No government. No money. Nothing. The city of Wilmington received a $79,231 stimulus grant to provide programs designed to prevent and control crime, a $167,392 grant for investment in rural public transit vehicles, $4 million to replace roads, curbs, and sidewalks typically replaced by residents. In addition, the Ohio Department of Development is extensively involved in the community, has provided money to Clinton County Port Authority to help redevelop the Wilmington Air Park. It's also offering airborne maintenance and engineering services. A new company operating at the park, more than $5.2 million in state assistance to grow its business there. Wilmington Mayor David Razik, who cited several other sources of federal assistance flowing into the city, said he's chasing any government help he can get. He said, quote, "I've beat on more doors than I can count, not because we're looking for a handout, but we are looking for a hand up. My job is to get whatever assistance I can get for the citizens here and to help create jobs for them." End quote. I'm Glenn Beck. I'm going to be in Wilmington. I'm going to be at a theater there. I am. I'm charging people to come in and listen to me further spread my lies and deception and stench and stink and deceit, because that's what I do. I'll be at the Murphy Theater on December 15th. I will be hosting a show titled America's First Christmas. I am a lying pig son of a bitch named Glenn Beck.